Welcome everyone, this is the editorial page of Indian Express and I will explain this editorial in 3 steps. First is why is this editorial written? Then second is what exactly the writers of editorial are trying to give as a message to the readers. And the third is what exactly can we think of the future about the topic that is given in the editorial. So, starting with this first editorial, reducing disparities. This is about Human Development Index, and why exactly this editorial is given because UNDP, which is United Nations Development Program, it has released its data on Human Development Index, and India has slipped in its ranking. It is now 132nd rank, which India has got. So this article, India's improvement on HDI has slowed down. Bridging gaps require improving access to quality education. So this is subheading of this editorial. So in this editorial, various data are given about other countries are also given. So we are more focused on India-centric data. So I'll explain only the data which is related to India and the causes, reasons only about India. So starting with this, the database and methodology for computing the Human Development Index, which is HDI. This data and methodology by the United Nations Development Program is not as robust as that of national income or price indices that gets monitored on a quarterly or annual basis. So what exactly is writer trying to convey? He is trying to convey a message that the database and methodology, whatever the method is used for computing this HDI, is not as strong, is not as robust as that of computing methodology of national income or price indices. Now these two, national income and price indices, these are monitored on quarterly and annual basis, but HDI is done only annually. Now the construction of HDI involves 4 indicators with 3 dimensions. You have to learn it. First is per capita income, second is health, also called life expectancy, and third is education, also called average and expected years of schooling. So these are the 3 dimensions under which this Human Development Index is calculated. Now there's a bad news by UNDP last week. What is the bad news? That annual rate of progress in HDI that has gone up from 0.7% in 1990s to 0.8% in the following decade has now declined to half that level during 2010 to 2021. So you see, from 0.7 it increased to 0.8% in 90s, but now it is half of it in 2010 to 2021. Now what about India? India has performed comparatively well with its growth accelerating from 1.2 to 1.6% has performed. It was, but now it has come down to 0.9% in 2010 to 2021. Second bad news for India is that its global HDI rank has slipped. 2019 it was at 129th position. 2020 slipped down to 131. Now what? In 2021-22 it slipped again to 132nd rank. Now India's per capita income, which in terms of purchasing power parity, also has gone down by 5%. Now what exactly is the current per capita income? It is nearly $2,000. So also this decrease in the purchasing power parity per capita income, it also confirms with the national data. That means whatever the UNDP has calculated, it is also confirming with our national data. So our country has recorded a sharp fall of 7% in real terms in GDP in 2020, that was a COVID year, our GDP declined by 7% and could not fully recover the following year. In 2021, this GDP was not recovered. Now, decline in life expectancy is also sharper for India than for other developing countries. So you can say that life expectancy criteria is, of course, very much influenced by what happened during the COVID pandemic. So life expectancy has declined. There is also a sharp fall in the expected years of schooling. So what is the reason exactly for the concern for India? The reason is, of course, it has slipped its rank. But why exactly it has slipped? Because of inequality in India. You see, UNDP has a system. It calculates the ranking in terms of inequality also. So a genuine reason for concern for India is the high inequality in different dimensions of development. You see a lot of development. There are a lot of dimensions of development. So if you have inequality, high inequality in different dimensions of development, then your ranking and position come down. UNDP brings out inequality adjusted HDI figures. So if you adjust inequality in these HDI figures, then it reduces the value based on what exactly is the inequality in your country. If inequality is high, then it will reduce more the value, and if its inequality is low, then it will increase the value. So by this measure, if we adjust this inequality in HDI figure, then India sinks from 132nd to 134th position. As you know, inequality is very high in India. So that is why now you see inequality was high, but it has declined. So you see, if inequality declines, if inequality is less, then it is a happy news. So happily, there has been a decline in health inequality from 31% to 17% during 2010 to 2021. So there is a decline in health equality. But what about educational inequality? There has been very less decline in educational inequality. So this is the case in India as well, and also for low and other medium HDI countries. What is the position of India in HDI? It's a medium HDI country. So what is the solution? Now, access to quality education must therefore be critical for determining the focus of country's development strategy, as it is moving towards a 10 trillion economy. So what must be the focus? The focus should be on giving quality education in order to make this country's development strategy and make the aim of 10 trillion economy a real success. So this was the editorial of HDI, and we will see in the future whether India increases its rank in such HDI or not. Obviously, three factors are there: per capita income. If India increases its per capita income, then obviously its ranking will increase. Then health factor and education. Not just education, quality education must be given. So if these three dimensions are improved, then obviously India's rank will be improved. Now coming to our next editorial, we see is the ideas page. Now why exactly this editorial has come? Because we see the NFHS data. There is an increase in anemia in the NFHS data. And why exactly is this increase? So it has been explained that all the factors have gone up. They have improved. But then also NFHS data shows that hemoglobin also has reduced, or said there is a deficiency of hemoglobin that causes anemia. So we see the headline, cracking our anemia mystery. increase in hemoglobin deficiencies and HFS5 despite progress on other nutritional and health indicators is a matter of concern. So what exactly this line means? It means that there is an increase in hemoglobin deficiency, but there are progress on other nutritional health indicators. So why exactly this hemoglobin deficiency is showing? This is a matter of concern. So over half of all women in India are anemic, and that numbers have increased in the last 3 years. You see, between 2005 and 2015, anemia declined in India. But what now? NFHS data show that anemia rate have now increased from 53% to 57% in women and nearly 58% to 67% in children in 2019 and 21. What exactly is anemia? World Health Organization defines anemia as a condition where the number of red blood cells, or you can call hemoglobin concentration, within them is lower than normal. So red blood cells, the number of them, and also hemoglobin concentration decreases or is lower than normal. What is the result? This compromises immunity and also impedes cognitive development. These are the results of having low hemoglobin. Now what can be the cause? First is cereal-centric diet, taking more carbohydrates, and relatively less consumption of iron-rich foods such as meat, fish, eggs, dark green leafy vegetables can be associated with higher level of anemia. Now we see exactly the opposite. Consumption of iron-dense food have increased from NHFS4 to NHFS5. People are consuming, women and children are consuming more iron-rich food. Their consumption of meat, their consumption of fish, egg, dark green leafy vegetables, all of that has increased. Now coming to second factor, what exactly can be second cause? Factors like poor water quality and sanitation conditions can also impact iron absorption in the body. But we see that both these factors have improved from NHFS4 to NHFS5. Then why exactly there is anemia? If you see that this poor water and sanitation, it impacts iron absorption, but these are provided. We see also the numbers that household using improved sanitation facilities have increased. Household with access to improved drinking water sources have improved. So we will see what exactly are the reasons. Now third factor is women empowerment. This is also a factor. Making decisions in the use of income, access to resources, and also ownership of assets. All these are factors that make women empower. But women empowerment has also improved from NHFS4 to NHFS5. So it suggests that women decision making, so this power, this empowerment alone cannot explain the rise in anemia. So because empowerment has increased, it does not say that there will be a decrease in anemia. In fact, we have seen an increase in anemia. So this cannot explain. Now the last factor, which is delivery of health and nutritional interventions. So what is this delivery of health and nutritional interventions? This is like delivering of micronutrients to pregnant women and also health facilities given to women and children. These play a significant role in the prevalence of anemia. But we see that women's consumption of folic acid, which is an iron source during pregnancy, have increased, and also access to antenatal checkups has improved over the last 5 years. So the writers of this editorial are confused. They are surprised then how anemia rates have gone up, not just in mothers but also in children below the age of 5. So now they are trying to make the reason why exactly this anemia have increased. So investing in enhanced understanding of the varied causes behind the increase in anemia is also pertinent. So pertinent means important. So they are talking that you have to understand in the causes behind this increase in anemia, and it is very important. So now at the very least we should go beyond hemoglobin to include some other iron specific biomarkers. So going beyond hemoglobin, just hemoglobin is not the only cause. We should go beyond that and find out that some other iron specific biomarkers such as serum ferritin as well as also markers of inflammations to identify the role of iron deficiency as a driver of anemia. Simultaneously, the measurement of anemia should also account for non-iron nutrition deficiencies. We should look beyond iron also, such as there is a deficiency of vitamin B in case of India, and also we must screen for genetic plus blood disorders. There can be some blood disorders also which are based on genes. For example, thalassemia. Second is sickle cell anemia. So this can be factor also looking beyond iron. Second, we must look at expanding the NFHS data on food consumption, including information on portion size. So exactly tackling that whether women are taking a good portion, good size of meal or not, and also frequency of consumption. So what that means? That means that whether they are taking 3 meals a day or not. This can help us to accurately estimate the intake of various micronutrients and then compare it. Then compare what is the comparison? Compare the portion size, compare the frequency with the recommendations that are given by WHO. So now this rising anemic figure, it made it nearly impossible to achieve the targets under Anemia Mukt Bharat program. So this is a program run by government. What is the aim? The aim is to reduce anemia from 2015-16 to 2022. And how much reduce? At least you must reduce 3% per year. So this has become nearly impossible to achieve. Now data on anemia tells us something has gone wrong. So now it is critical that we discover what has changed and move quickly to address it. So we see all of the factors have improved, but still anemia has increased in both women and children. So we see something is wrong, and the writers are calling that more frequently we discover it, more better it will be for India. So I think what is in the future is that, so this rise in anemia, there will be a discussion on that, of course. Various personals will and also policymakers will do rigorous research, and that will include stakeholders like health professionals, policymakers, and also other experts in the field. And when they will exactly find out that what is really plaguing the result, what it is that we have not seen accurately, then only this problem will be solved. So this is the end of an editorial, and you can read this editorial as well.